morning. Happy Tuesday. You guys, I'm going to share with you about my stack this morning. The big lesson I got, or I was reminded, I should say, is that life is what we choose to focus on. So, last night, you guys, so here's the thing, okay? I'm just going to tell you, one of the things you can count on me for is to pretty much always speak the truth, okay? I was telling everybody this weekend that sometimes people are like, I can't believe she's sharing this, but here's the deal. I'm not even going to pretend to be perfect. I'm not going to pretend to have everything figured out. I'm not going to pretend that my life is like ideal, okay? My life is challenging. My life is full of adventure, okay? My life is interesting, okay? I'm sure as everybody's is. I am married to a very strong, opinionated man. I have a son who was diagnosed with some autism, so he struggles with his language. And I, myself, am a very interesting woman that has a big life and that wants to have and accomplish big things. So with all those elements, things are not easy, okay? Things are not easy, especially when you have the type of personality that you want to go for big things. So, yeah, I say that all to say that yesterday, Sergio and I got into a little argument about something, and, as I went to sleep really upset, okay? I went to sleep really upset and really bothered. So this morning I woke up and thank God for the stack. I woke up and normally I do a prayer stack and I talk to God, but this time I was like, I'm gonna do a stack on irritation because I was really irritated about something. And what's so awesome about the stack, I really hope that all of you guys get a chance to experience it. I promise you, I'm gonna be down in Dana Point on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to talk to Garrett about how to make it available to all of you because I know there is a way, but I'm not too sure how. Anyway, but this stack, what it's so beautiful about it is that it asks you questions as if you're having like a conversation with the coach or as if you're having a conversation with God. And you get to walk through certain things that if you did not have like a mentor or a therapist or really like, just someone to bounce things off that is neutral and not completely like one-sided, this stack would replace all that, right? So as I was walking through this stack, it asks you like, what are you irritated about? And what's the story you're telling yourself about it? And it asks you all these questions, right? But then it got to the end of it and it was like, what's the lesson? It's like, it has a question like, what's the positive thing behind it or something? I wanted to be like, fucking nothing. Okay, that's what I really wanted to say, but I was like, okay, let me think about this. And as I was thinking about what is the positive of everything I wrote, which I don't have time to go through because it was like an hour stack. But what I really got at the end is that life is what we choose to focus on. So last night, I got into an argument with Sergio because I chose to focus on something that completely disempowered me. Now, was I right? I think so, right? He probably says no, but I chose to focus on something that completely disempowered the whole conversation or like what I was feeling. And as I was typing and writing, I finally and it says, what's the new story you're creating for yourself? And here's what I want to share with you, okay? We all have a choice on what we focus on. And I know you probably know this, but here's the thing, to be mindful and to have consciousness around this is powerful. Meaning that last night when I was upset and got into an argument with Sergio, I was only focusing on me. And I was only focusing on what I was going through, what I was feeling, how I was feeling. I didn't even think about what he was feeling because I was like, I don't care. Okay, I was like, blah, 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 and he was like, yeah. And so, at the end of it this morning, I was like, you know what? Let me stop and think, because the thing asks you questions, right? And I was like, if I put myself in his shoes, why did he feel the way he felt? Why did he respond the way he responded? And I started to put myself in his shoes and look at it from his perspective, and things started to shift for me. Okay, I'm still not saying he was right, okay, but I can see why he responded and reacted the way he did. Now, would I have responded and reacted the way he did? No, but I'm not him, right? I'm not him. I am me. I don't have his background. I have mine. I don't have his philosophy. I have mine. And I think that one of the biggest challenges that we go through in life, in business, is that a lot of the times we want others to respond or react the way that we would. Because here's the thing, right? Because I was thinking, why, after all that I've done, all the personal development, all the coaching, all the therapy, why am I feeling like this? I should know better, right? And then what I got was, hold on, I'm walking Luna, and guess what she just did? Yep, you guessed it. But I'm going to be a good neighbor, and I got to pick it up. So I know, either that or I have to let you go, and then Marta gets upset. Anyway, and so what I got was, you know what, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking like this? You know, and then it hit me. I'm like, because at the end of the day, many times we choose to focus on only like the way we see the world. It's almost as if, okay, it's almost as if you have like a language, like let's say you only speak Spanish, right? So you go to Europe, you go to Italy, and they speak Italian. There is a difference of, hold on a second, you guys, hold on. There is a difference in language, right? So when I go to Italy and I'm expecting them to speak Spanish, they're probably going to look at me and be like, you're in my country, I expect you to speak Italian. And that's how many times we operate in the world. Operate in the world of business, we operate like this in the world of relationships, we operate in the world like this with like social media or politics or whatever, is that we think our language, aka the way we choose to see the world, is right, and everybody else's is wrong, right? And here's the thing, even though you might be aka accepting of others, the reality is a lot of the times we're biased. Otherwise, we wouldn't be upset. Otherwise, we wouldn't be bothered. So this morning I was reminded, right? The world is what I choose to focus on. And if I'm choosing to only focus on what matters to me, what is important to me, how I see the world, then yes, I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to be upset. But if I choose to focus on the other person, in this case, Sergio's, right, point of view, the other person's, you know, philosophy or the way they see the world, then I have a better chance of not being so upset and not being so disappointed. So this morning, I'm reminded of this. So I'm going to ask you guys, like, where in your life are you choosing to focus on things that are not working? Where in your life are you choosing to focus on things that disempower you? Okay? And if you don't want to suffer anymore, right? Or if you don't want to be disappointed or you don't want to be upset about things, I encourage you to start thinking about what else can you focus on, okay? What else? Good morning. What else can you focus on? You know, maybe it's focus on what is working. Focus on what lessons you're learning from this. And more importantly, focus on what could it be on the other side. What are they going through? If somebody, like in this case with Sergio, right? This morning I was thinking, I'm like, okay, well, you know, what happened that had him react the way he did? And then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, well, and then of course I was like, well, I wouldn't have reacted that way. I would not do that, right? I went into all these ways of being righteous and making him, and guess what that did? That upset me even more. So I was like, okay, Karla, stop. And let me just focus on where was he coming from? Okay. And I still was like, doesn't matter. I was okay. And I was like, okay, where is he coming from? What had him react the way he did? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this, you guys, you can do it in any area of your life. Okay. You can do it in your business. If you have a team, right, and your team is reacting a certain way, maybe stop and think, what has them react the way they're reacting? What has them feeling the way that they're feeling? What has them being the way that they're being? And that might give you perspective of why they are acting, doing, and being the way that they are. And as a leader, that's going to make you, number one, more empathetic. Okay, and that is one of the biggest characteristics of a great leader, is that they have empathy for their team. Doesn't mean you have to accept their excuses. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with how they're being. But what it does mean is that you have empathy for your team. Okay, and so when you start to think about where they're coming from, okay, that will have you feel their world. That will have you see things in their lens. And from there, you can more effectively lead. From there, you can more effectively influence. Otherwise, you're going to have a disconnect, and you're going to have a very disempowering communication and relationship, because you're only seeing the world from your eyes. So, in conclusion, you guys, life is what we choose to focus on. So I encourage you this Tuesday to focus on what is working, and the things that are not working, what can you do? Who can you be? And, more importantly, like, how can you relate to the people around you that matter? Okay, so I hope you guys have an awesome day. And if you find that this is valuable, shoot me a message and let me know what you think. Have a great Tuesday.